Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your day is good. We are back again to deal with the important subject of who is Igbo today, who can claim to be Igbo today. We deal completely with history, culture, anthropology. We don't deal with emotions. If you are here because of hate, because of anti-Semitism, because of being non-informed, you are likely not going to enjoy this channel. But if you are here to learn, to contribute to knowledge, you would find this place a home. Today, in the year 2024, the people who can be Igbo are people who are referred to as the Igbo people in the country called Nigeria today. They are spread out in the states of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, Rivers. Some are in the states of Edo, Cross Rivers, if I have not mentioned it before, Kogi, Benue. This is the people from Nigeria that could be identified as the Igbo people today. Another group of people that can be Igbos, that can claim to be Igbos, are descendants of these people that I mentioned. Today, we have identified them in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Gabon, Cote d'Ivoire. I am talking of places where we have identified these people. Cape Verde. Then, out of the African continent, we have identified them in large numbers in the African American community, in the Afro-Caribbean community, in the Afro-Latino community. Still, there is another group of people that can claim to be Igbo. They are the Ashkenazi Jews, the Sephardi Jews, the Mizrahi Jews, the Beta Israel of Ethiopia. In other words, the groups known as the Jews, they can also claim to be Igbos. I will now begin to use culture to make my points stronger, starting from the last group I mentioned. There are certain religious and cultural practices that you find only the Igbos observing in Nigeria. I will give you an example. If an Igbo person commits suicide by hanging himself, he has committed an abomination. I don't want to refer to one fellow here on this channel who said the missionaries may have taught, one faceless fellow anyway, he doesn't have a real name, he doesn't have a photograph, who said the missionaries may have taught the Igbos Israelite practices. For God's sake, the missionaries did not know anything about Israelite practices. You cannot teach what you don't know. So, if an Igbo by chance commits suicide, he has committed an abomination. The body cannot be buried. this is uniquely Igbo in Nigeria. You find this practice in the Ashkenazi Jewish community, in the Sephardic Jewish community, in the Mizrahi Jewish community, in the Beta Israel Jewish community. You find this practice. I mentioned that people that are here for anti-Semitic purposes will not enjoy this channel. If you hate the Jews, I cannot hate the Jews because you hate them. If you feel you are black and they are white, the Igbo people were killed in Nigeria because they were identified with fair color. So you are totally wrong if you think that being black makes you Igbo. It doesn't make you Igbo. In 1966 in Lagos, how to identify an Igbo before putting the knife or a bullet to his back was his fair skin. So color is not one of our determinants of ethnicity or nationality or ethnic origins. So if you are hating the Jewish people because they are white and you construct yourself and you consider yourself black, you will not enjoy this channel. And I believe that people that are here are people that are here to learn. So we share these traditions with the Jewish community, this particular tradition. We share another tradition with the Jewish community. I'm mentioning traditions that you will not find in the Bible and you will not find anywhere outside these communities. If an Igbo takes his life, oh no, I've dealt with this, so let us leave this. If an Igbo does something totally reprehensible, that Igbo will be mourned alive. About 30 years ago, I was living in Nigeria then. I hadn't come to America. A synagogue in America mourned an Ashkenazi Jew alive because he married a Christian and he converted to Christianity. He converted to Christianity. He was mourned alive in New York. The community sat shiva for him. If the Igbos and the Ashkenazi share this tradition, and both are waiting to be told that they are related, they should go back to their drawing boards. Then, history is so clear that not less than 25% of the people brutally taken out of Africa belonged to the Igbo ethnic group. And history tells us again that majority of those taken away from the slave coast, these are the coasts bordering the place you call Igbo land today, ended up in what you call the African American community. An equally large number of them ended up in the Afro-Caribbean community. Remnants of the Igbo language survive in Haitian Creole, survive in Jamaican Patois. We deal with history. We don't deal with emotions. And eventually, when the British and the Americans allowed some of these people to go back to Africa, they ended up in Sierra Leone and Liberia. That is why you find names like Koroma in Liberia and Sierra Leone, Okoroma, Ojuku. Then, I mentioned Cape Verde. During the period of tragedy, when 10,000 Igbos were dying every day due to genocide, the Portuguese made available Cape Verde for efforts to try to get food to starving and dying Igbos. Some of those Igbos, some of the starving Igbos were taken on board the planes that brought food. Some were dropped off in Gabon. Some were dropped off in Côte d'Ivoire. Some were dropped off in Cape Verde. the last president of Gabon was an Igbo man. So I will recap. The groups that I listed, that I mentioned, are the groups that can claim to be Igbo today. And beyond the fact that I have used culture and history to demonstrate that they are the groups that can be Igbo today, because some of them have taken on other identities that they think have always been their identities from Adam. I will explain what what Igbo really means. Igbo means Hebrew. Igbo is what the English term Hebrew, the modern Hebrew term Ivri, metamorphosed to in what the language of the Igbos, which has been described by the University of Ibadan as a sister language of Biblical Hebrew. This is what it has turned the English term Hebrew to, in this language that a Yoruba scholar who compared the Igbo and the Hebrew languages at the University of Ibadan called a language genetically related to Hebrew. In other words, the Igbo language is a sister language to the Hebrew language that we know today. If you want to pronounce Igbo in English, you will say Hebrew. If you want to pronounce Igbo in modern Hebrew, you will say Ibri or Ivri. But if you want to use the language Nka, this one that I am speaking, you will say Igbo or Igbo. I may have spoken with some force. I beg leave of the tender-hearted people there. I think we are all matured people. People that are under 10 years don't go to YouTube. I don't think it is fair for people to come to my timeline, to my YouTube channel, to tell me shame on me, because I spoke about how an Israeli woman who lived in Nigeria for 25 years related Igbo culture to biblical culture. I wouldn't do that to people. I was brought up and raised to respect people. And I expect people to respect me. Thank you.